All right, let's talk about something that's bubbling up in the professional world. It's this really interesting, kind of subtle shift that's making us question everything we thought we knew about success. It's called quiet ambition.
So let's just start with the one statement that's kind of shaking things up. For generations, the whole system was built on one idea. Everyone wants to be the boss. But now, more and more people are just asking, so what if I don't? What happens when the big prize isn't the corner office anymore?
To really get what's happening, we got to rewind a bit and remember the old rules. For decades, it felt like a career could only go in one direction, straight up. That was it. That was the story.
In this path, it was like a really simple, really rigid ladder, right? You get the promotion, you lead a bigger team, you get a fancier title. Every single step was designed to inch you closer to the center of power. And if you stepped off that path, well, that wasn't just a career change, it was seen as a failure.
But you know, that ladder is starting to look a little less appealing. Something's definitely changing. We're now seeing what some are calling the great refusal, where you have a ton of talented people looking at that ladder and just consciously deciding to walk the other way.
And look, this isn't happening because people lack talent or drive. Not at all. It's happening because they're seeing the traditional game, they understand the price of admission, and they're actively choosing not to play. They're just not chasing promotions or the headache of leading huge teams anymore.
So this quiet rejection of the old way has given rise to a whole new idea, a new name for a different kind of drive, one that completely rethinks what success is all about.
The loud, look-at-me ambition of a past, it's being replaced by something more internal, more personal. It's like this. Ambition doesn't have to shout anymore. Now, it just whispers.
So, what is this thing, quiet ambition? This is really important. It is not about giving up. It's about redefining the finish line. Priorities are just shifting, away from stuff like titles and authority and towards things like autonomy, making a real impact, and actually having a life.
Let's just break this down. Traditional, loud ambition is all external. It's about seeking titles, seeking authority. It's about wanting to seem successful to other people. Quiet ambition, that's internal. It's about seeking autonomy and real impact because you want to feel good. It's choosing a productive, peaceful Monday over a high-stress, high-stakes board meeting.
Okay, so the big question is, why now? Why is this happening all of a sudden? Turns out there are some very real reasons people are starting to ask if the climb is even worth it.
A few key things are really driving this. People have watched their mentors and their leaders just completely burn out. They've been thrown into management roles with zero training. They figured out that a new title often just means way more work, but not more meaningful work. And, after basically a decade of nonstop crises and restructuring, that emotional salary, just basic well-being, is suddenly a top priority.
So, how are companies dealing with all this? Well, for a lot of them, the answer is not very well. They're struggling because they're still offering the same old options for success.
This right here is the classic, totally outdated reaction. Oh, you don't want the management job? I guess you're not ambitious. They're completely misreading the room, mistaking a quiet, focused ambition for no ambition at all.
And this is the core misunderstanding. This isn't a lack of hunger. It's a desire for a different menu. The ambition is absolutely still there. It's just for things like fulfillment and mastery and peace, not just power and stress.
So if the old incentives aren't working anymore, what should companies and leaders be asking? How do you actually connect with your most talented people now?
Instead of pushing everybody toward the same corner office, we need to ask way better questions. What does impact actually mean to you? What really gets you excited to come to work? How can we help you create and build cool stuff here without forcing you to manage people? And maybe the biggest one of all, how can you grow here with us without having to give up who you are?
And that really gets to the heart of it all. The problem was never that people didn't want to grow. The problem was the belief that there's only one way to grow, and that's straight up a single, narrow ladder.
I think this quote just says it all, really. Not everyone wants to be the captain of the ship. Some people just want to be an amazing navigator or a brilliant engineer. They want the ship to move forward, and they want to enjoy the journey. And that, in its own quiet, powerful way, that is also ambition.